Let me ask you a question. How many diets have you been on in the past? How many meal plans have you followed? And this was a conversation me and my clients were having this morning in our weekly group coaching session. And it's how can we create a diet that works for you? Because there's so many diets out there, so many meal plans you can follow, so many diets, but the truth is none of them actually work. You might think they work because you might see some results, you might lose a bit of weight, you might lose weight pretty quickly and you think, wow, this works. But the reality is, that diet's going to come to an end. There's going to be a point where you can't sustain it any longer, or there's a point where it's too restrictive and you don't want to be on it anymore. And there's going to be a point where you revert back to the way you was and you end up putting that weight back on. Maybe that's a familiar cycle that you've been through in the past. So one of the key takeaways from our group coaching session this morning was anyone who has lost weight and successfully kept it off has done so not by changing their diet, but by changing their eating habits and their lifestyle habits. Let me repeat that. Anyone who has successfully lost weight and kept it off for many years afterwards has done so not through changing their diet, but through changing their eating habits and lifestyle habits. Because, what happens when you follow a diet? Life gets in the way. What happens when you come to the end of the diet? And generally diets have, one thing in common. They're quite restrictive. They're quite limiting. And what happens when we limit ourselves of something? Well, limitation creates desire. Marketers and advertisers have known this for years. Sale ends in 3 days. Last 2 in stock. Buy now or it'll be gone tomorrow. Advertisers and marketers have used limitation as a way to drive more sales because it increases buy-in desire. If you know something's going to sell out and you want it, you're more likely to take action and buy it because your desire has increased. You don't want to miss out. It's the same with dieting. If you're restricting and limiting yourself of chocolate, and you love chocolate, then you're going to want chocolate more and more, and there's going to come to a point where you're going to gorge on chocolate. If you cut out alcohol and you like to have an occasional drink, you're going to eventually binge drink on a ton of alcohol over the weekend and make up for what you've restricted on. So limitation creates desire. Diets, 9 times out of 10 are always going to backfire on you. So it's not changing your diet, it's changing your eating habits that will lead you to be successful in losing weight and keep it off.